Hi boys and girls, hope you guys are all doing well. This is Dr. Khan and happy new day. Today is exciting because we're starting Module 5. We're starting Module 5 for second grade. This is going to be Lesson 4. Module 5, Lesson 4. So we're going to start out with our fluency practice. We're going to move on to our application problem and then get into our conceptual development. So I'm very, very excited about this lesson because we're going to be using the arrow way. Okay, we're going to be focusing on the arrow way. So let's quickly start out with our fluency practice. So what is 2/10 less than 130? What is 2/10 less than 130? 110. Good job. Basically, you look at the tens column and you take 2/10 away. So you take 130 minus 20 equals 110. So what is the number sentence? 130 minus 20 equals 110. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Good job. Moving on. What is 200 less than 350? What is 200 less than 350? And then what is the number sentence? So first calculate it. Good job. The answer is 150. Basically, you're looking at the hundreds column and taking away 200. You quickly calculate that it's 150. The number sentence is 350 minus 200 equals 150. Good job. Okay, now we're going to move on to our application problem. So this is where I want you to take out your pencil and paper and solve this along with me, okay? Diane needs 65 craft sticks. She only has 48. How many more craft sticks does she need? I'll say that again. Diane needs 65 craft sticks. She only has 48. How many more craft sticks does she need? Okay, so first I'm going to conceptually represent this, okay? So obviously here I'm making a tape diagram. She needs 65, she has 48, right? Here I also represented it with using the 65, right? And then showing that she has 48, there's the missing number, right? So firstly, I would like for you to turn and talk to your family members, whoever's around you, and talk about what method you would use to solve this problem. Is this an addition problem? Will you use addition? Will you use subtraction? Will you use both? What's the best way? Pause the video. Unpause. Okay, good job. So I solved this using the vertical way, and then I used the arrow way. Again, I used it the vertical way, and then I used it using the arrow way. You can use whatever strategy that you would like. So if you do this the vertical way, 65 minus 48, I subtracted here. So basically, I look at the top number in the ones column, right? Is the top number too small? Yes. Alert, cross, transform. So I take that 5 ones, right? I take the 6, I unbundle it. I take a 110 from there. This turns into a 15 ones. 15 ones minus 8 ones equals 7 ones. 5 tens minus 4 tens equals 110. The answer is 17. Obviously, I use the read, draw, write method, and I write Diane needs 17 more craft sticks. I was very specific with my sentence. Moving on, the arrow way. Here, if you look at the arrow way, I did 48 plus what will give me 65. 48 plus what equals 65, right? So, So this is what I did. I wrote 48. I said 48 plus what gives me the next 10. So 48 plus 2 gives me the next 10. So I got 50. 50 plus what gives me the next 10? 50 plus 10 gives me the next 10, which is 60. Did you see that? I'm getting close to my, right, end number. So 60 plus what will give me 65? 60 plus 5 will give me 65. So I add these top numbers, right, to figure out, I add these I find the total of these numbers to see how many more craft sticks Diane needs. So 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 2 more is 17. So 48 plus 17 equals 65. Diane needs 17 more craft sticks. Diane needs 17 more craft sticks. Basically, this is the counting on way, right? 48 plus what gives 65. You can do this with you can actually count with your fingers, but an easier way is just to quickly do it using the arrow way. It's a quick mental math strategy. Good, good work. So now we're going to move on to our conceptual development. Let's read it. Subtract multiples of 100 and some tens within 1,000. I'll say that again. Subtract multiples of 100 and some tens within 1,000. Basically, what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to subtract using the arrow way. All we're doing is subtracting using multiples of hundreds and tens using the arrow way. That is simply it, okay? So before I begin, I want to focus on 2 vocabulary words, which I would like for you to create even with an index card if you can, and write these 2 vocabulary words down. Minuend and subtrahend, okay? Subtrahend. Minuend and subtrahend. Basically, the minuend is the total number that you're subtracting from, and subtrahend is the second number. Got it? We need to know this. It's important for this lesson. Minuend is the first number in a subtraction problem, right? Subtrahend is the second number. Okay, good, good work. So basically, we're again learning how to subtract using the arrow way. So 750 minus 400, 750 minus 450. This is problem 1. 750 minus 480. How do we solve this? Okay, using the arrow way. Basic, we're going to look at these steps. We're going to use, again, you can screenshot this or take a picture of this, which is very, very important, of the steps. So basically, when you're using the arrow way, firstly, you have to look at, is this a step-by-step problem? Yes, it is, right? There's a pattern. The 400 increases, the subtrahend of 400 increases to 450, then it increases to 480, okay? So basically, you look at the subtrahend, you subtract using the biggest 100. The second step is you subtract using the biggest tens. Step 3 is subtract using the difference between the tens. Okay? And I'll explain this further. Let's reread the steps again. Look at the subtrahend. Subtract using the biggest 100. Subtract using the biggest 10 in that number. Subtract using the difference between the tens. So let's actually do it using these steps, okay? So here you have 750 minus 400. So you put the 400 over the arrow. That's the biggest 100, right? Right? Do you agree? Put your thumbs up. Okay, good. So that's, you get 350. What's the next step? Subtract using the biggest 10. So you have 750 minus 400. So you repeat the process. You basically recopy exactly what you have in the top. You get 350. Now you add a second arrow and you subtract the biggest 10, which is what? 50. So you say minus 50 on that arrow. What do you get? 350 minus 50 is 300. Do you see that? Okay? All we did was we copied this first entire row into this row and just subtracted the next biggest 10. You get 300. What's the last step? Subtract using the difference between the tens. So you look at these the tens in each of these, in these subtrahands, right? The 50 and the 80, and you find the difference. So you know that's a 30, right? Because you need 30 more to get to 80. You need 50 plus 30 to get to 80. So again, you recopy the entire process again, right? Bam, 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 right? You see, bam, bam, bam. And then you copy the next arrow. Now you have that 300. Now you're subtracting it by 30. Your answer is 270. 300 minus 30 equals 270. Did you see that process? Did you see it? Okay. Okay, good. I want you to internalize it. I want you to stop the video, pause the video, and really internalize what just happened. Okay? Same process, same process. You're just following these steps. And then you're going on and copying the same process here. And now all you're doing is finding the difference between tens here and subtracting that, and you get 270. That's how you do it. Okay, good work. Okay. Now, this is, again, when you are doing a step-by-step process in using the arrow way. Now, what ends up happening is when you get really good at this method, the arrow way, what ends up happening is this is another chart that I would like for you to screenshot or take a picture of. So basically what ends up happening is when you're conducting problems or solving problems using the arrow way, basically when you start noticing a pattern, you can just skip to the last problem. Okay? When you start noticing that each of these steps are encompass all the other steps, then you can just go to the last problem. Okay? Let me explain what I mean. So here you'll notice 440 minus 240. 440 minus 260. 440 minus 290. You see that the Septuagint is just increasing by 10s or 20s, right? By basically 10s or 20s. You see that? Or yeah, 240 increases to 260, 260 increases to 290. So there's a pattern. The Septuagint is increasing, but the minuend is staying the same. So when you notice a pattern like that, you can skip directly to the last problem. Why do you do that? Because in all the other steps, it encompasses all the last problem and encompasses all the other prerequisite steps. Okay, so you can just go quickly to that one. Got it? Okay. So let's look at the what that involves, what that entails. Arrow way using the last problem. So this is another chart that's very crucial. Arrow way using the last problem. So you ask yourself, is there a patterned problem? Yes. Skip to the last problem. So you cross this out, you go to the last problem. So you look at the Septuagint, take out the biggest 100. You take out the matching minuend 10, you figure out the leftover 10, and you solve it. I'll reread that again, and I'll read it a little slower. Is there a pattern problem? Okay. Skip to the last problem. Okay. Okay. Look at the Septuagint, take out the biggest 100, take out the matching minuend 10, figure out the leftover 10, solve it. Okay, now I'm going to actually solve it with you, okay? So look over here. So we're solving 440 minus 290, okay? Then it says, look at the Septuagint, that's the second number, remember? Take out the biggest 100. So we subtract it using the 200. So 440 minus 200. We take out that 200. Do you see that? Okay, great. The next step says, take out the matching minuend 10. So look at the minuend, the 10 over there, it's 40, right? What's in the tens column? 40. So I take out the 40, I take that 90, I look at that tens in the Septuagint, I take out the 40 because that's the matching minuend 10, right? And then I find the leftover 10. So 40 plus what gives me 90 is 50. Did you see that? So basically I go 440 minus 200, I get 240. Did you see that? Okay. Then I make another arrow. I subtract it using the what? Matching minuend 10, which is that 40. So 240 minus 40. I take out that 40 out. Right? Okay. Excellent, excellent work. After I do that, I get 200. So 240 minus 40 equals 200. Then I find out what is the leftover 10, right? 40 plus what gives me 90, which is 50. So 200 minus 50 equals 150. The answer is 150. The answer is 150. Do you see that? Okay, good work. We're going to try the same exact scenario with using different numbers, okay? So look at problem number 3. So I'm going to ask myself, is there a pattern problem? Let me see. 970 minus 470, 970 minus 480, 970 minus 490. Yes, there is an absolute pattern there, right? The Septuagint is increasing by tens. Okay, so that means I can skip to the last problem. Cross, cross, only going to do the last problem. 970 minus 490. 970 minus 490. So, what do? I look at the Septuagint and I take out the biggest 100. Okay? So, what's the biggest 100 and 490? 400. 970 minus 400. What do I have left over? 570. What's the next step? I take out the matching minuend 10. So the matching minimum 10 is 70, right? I take out that 70. 570 minus 70 equals 500. Okay? And now when I took that 490 and I broke that 10s to a 70, because that's the matching minimum in 10, I have a leftover of 20, because 70 plus 20 equals 90. So then I subtract the last number with 20, because that's the what? Leftover 10. So 500 minus 20 equals 480. Okay, so I'll say that again. 970 minus 400, because that is the biggest 100 in the Septuagint. Then I have 570 left over, right? I take that 90 and I break it into a 70 and a 20, because I take out the matching minuend 10, and then I have 20 left over, because that's how I'll get that 90. 70 plus 20 equals 90. So 570 minus 70 equals 500. I take out that leftover 10, the 20. 500 minus 20 equals 480. Okay? And the way to check this is you look at the 400, you add the 400 plus 70 plus 20 to make sure that you have 490, right? You want to make sure that your arrows total add up to the Septuagint. You want to make sure your arrow numbers add up to the Septuagint. That's how you check if you're doing this correctly. Okay, good work. Okay, last problem. Problem number 4 is 60. Now here, you're basically subtracting using the same unit. So you're subtracting using the tens. Because it says 66 tens minus 30 tens equals how many tens? Okay, that's all it is. Don't get nervous when you see the tens on the end. You just keep the same unit. You're just working with that unit. So subtract using the same unit. So 66 tens minus 30 tens equals, easy, right? 66 minus 30 tens equals 36 tens. If it's easier for you, you can do it this way, which is the vertical way, just to help you out. And then you get that answer. Okay, moving on. Now we have 66 tens minus 38 tens. Okay. Now, if you do this the traditional way, which is the vertical way, you would probably have to unbundle, right? You would have to unbundle. But instead, we're going to use the arrow way, because that's what our topic is today. We're basically learning how to subtract using the arrow way, okay? And this is a simpler method, and you can compute this quicker, right? If you know the arrow way, because that's quick mental math. Okay. So 66 minus 38 tens. So what do? Okay, you look at that Septuagint, right? You take out the biggest 10 or the biggest 100. So I'm taking out the 30, because that's the biggest 10. Did you see that? So 66 minus 30 equals 36. I look at that 8, right? And then I break that into a 6, right? Because I see that 6 over there, so I take out the 6. 36 minus 6 equals 30. And then what do I have left over? The 2, because 6 plus 2 is 8. Minus 2 is 28. The answer is 28. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Okay? So, I hope this helped. Okay? This is a new topic, but our children are very familiar using the arrow way. We've used the arrow way in module 4 in the beginning of the unit. And this is, again, the beginning of Module 5, and we're just reviewing the arrow way again, okay? So I hope this has helped you guys, and I really hope to see you guys very soon, and hope you guys are all doing well. Just letting you know I miss you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care.